And we're back. What is up, everybody? It is I, Bryan Kern, 1/3 of your tremendous trio that is the I Hate the Scene podcast, bringing you the debut episode of Breakdown at Bryan's. Here we go. You guys are ready for a brand new show here brought to you by the I Hate the Scene podcast, which you can catch live every Friday night at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all that good stuff. As you guys know, give us a like, give us a subscribe or a follow. Here are the social medias down at the bottom third that you can check out. I'm here to bring you guys my breakdown, my analysis, and my feelings, most of all, about what music and entertainment shit we are listening to. So I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. And like I said, this is going to be the first episode, and I think it's a very special album to be reviewing. It's only a week old as of today. I am going to be reviewing Obsidian by Northlane. Now, Obsidian is the sixth full-length album from Northlane. It is going to be the first album that was released on Believe Records. It's pretty exciting to see Northlane take a step out and go into potentially a label that's going to give them a little bit more exposure and maybe even a little bit more of a push to a mainstream level. And I hate to break the hearts of all you nerds out there, all you metalcore nerds, but this isn't your grandpa's Northlane, if you will. This is a much more mature, much more well-rounded, much more complete band, if you will. And I'm excited to go into it. Again, if you're a metalcore traditionalist, you may not jive with this album right away, but I highly encourage you to listen to it. I've gone through the entire album, which is 13 songs. It's over 56 minutes, so we're almost sitting at an hour-long album here, and it's great. Every time I listen to it, I find something new to check out. I find some new detail that makes it just goes, aha, like that's why Northlane is writing this style of music, and that's why they're doing this type of that's just why they're where they're at now. That's why Northlane is the band that they are, because they are defining themselves with a really unique sound and a really unique approach to their music. And that's not to say that other metalcore bands haven't done the new metal transition well. They have. But Northlane is doing something completely different. Northlane has a sound that you can pick out over a Thornhill, over a, what have you band that has maybe gone from being heavier to a little bit more mainstream sounding. Northlane has done that, no doubt, but they've done so in a way that's allowed themselves to remain unique, a notch above everybody else in this category, because they still have their heavy elements. They've stayed consistent with their lyrical content and their messaging and their music. The album is going to really rip your balls off right from the get-go. The first 5 tracks, which include the singles Carbonized and Clarity, are just, they're out of this world. And Clarity in particular, which is the album's opening track, starts off with like a minute and a half of a dance beat. And it's definitely going to be something completely opposite of what you would get off of Singularity with Genesis and Scarab, right? That's just balls to the wall, right in your face, aggression right out of the gate, anger. Clarity, 6 albums later, starting off, is almost like a mellow introduction to space. It's like you're in a spacecraft and you're getting shot in, and once you hit that last layer of atmosphere and you're actually in the black, right, and surrounded by nothing, that's almost what Clarity feels like it's introducing you to. It's introducing you to this new level of maybe clarity even, right? I got a little snippet for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. A minute and a half, man. This is, listen to this. This is not your normal metalcore intro, This is not your normal aggressive balls to the wall intro that you would get from a Northlane. But again, Northlane's been defining their sound and retuning it very well since 2014, since Node, since Marcus joined the band. Marcus's vocals, by the way, are just out of this world on this album. He definitely steps back from the heavier, more aggressive vocal layering. But he still has his aggressiveness. He still has the lows. He still has the highs. His clean singing is absolutely phenomenal. And for someone that came into a band that had a phenomenal vocalist and caught some heat. Node wasn't the most popular album with a lot of fans. Mesmer following that was not the most popular album with a lot of fans. But I believe that Marcus is coming to his own. We're gonna hear it right now. So you can tell from there, he comes in aggressive. You're not getting a mellow version of the band whatsoever. You had elements of the guitar riffage there. You had obviously some electronic elements. The electronic elements, the EDM aspect of this album, and I do say EDM specifically because this does sound like a dance album at times. We just got a minute and a half of an electronic intro, something that carries out through the entire song. You will notice that. You are going to hear beats and rhythm sections that flow through the entirety of songs on this album, which is really nice. And especially Cypher. Cypher is one that has lyrical elements of not having a leader or a boss or a god. It talks about independence. It's a song through and through that really is meant to stick out on the album and almost say, hey, this is what this album is about. This album is about maybe the struggles that have gone on over the last couple of years. This is the first album since the pandemic that Northlane has released. Their last one was in 2019. So we've had 3 years of Northlane being able to sit back in Australia, of all places, which has been harsher than a lot of other parts of the world. They've been able to sit back, get in their emotions, get in their feels, and put out what I think is probably one of their best albums. Now, I hate to burst all your bubbles, and I know the metalcore simps out there are gonna get their panties in a bunch about this, but these guys deserve to be on the next Matrix soundtrack. And if you don't believe me, I got a snippet for you guys. I mean, if this doesn't belong in the next Matrix movie or in some sort of Queen of the Damned remake, I don't know what does. We're wearing kind of lies, pretending we're outside. It's not a reflection of what it glorifies. I mean, what the fuck? That deserves to be on the next Matrix out or movie, no doubt. And that just goes to show how this band has transformed. I might age myself here, but in the mid 90s, early 2000s, if there was a good movie with a good metal soundtrack, oh, it blew bands up. I'm talking Static X, Power Man 5000, Korn, Rammstein. These are bands that not only made names for themselves in the metal communities because of their image, their sound, but they also had commercial appeal. Okay. Jonathan Davis pretty much wrote the entire Queen of the Damned soundtrack, and that's one of the best metal music soundtracks of all time. Hands down. Fight me. Fight me. I'm serious. This is the present day example of what new metal bands were doing in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. Okay. Obviously, early 2000s into the aughts, metalcore started taking over in those scenes, right? You had this harder aggression or this harder edge, definitely more screaming. Black metal and doom metal at the time were kind of obscure genres in the metal world, and now you have the likes of Lorna Shore getting commercial appeal, Slaughter to Prevail. This is a different music scene than it was in the 90s, but it has so many comparisons and it has so many different just repetitive features to it, and it's a blueprint for young bands coming up. If you want to set yourself apart, you need to be paying attention to bands like Northlane. Northlane is a band that is skilled, talented, and noteworthy. 100%. This is not a fluke. Northlane is like no other metalcore band that's out right now. No other metal band. Let's drop the core from them. Okay, these guys are no longer in the core field of the metal world, I don't think. They're a metal band or a rock band even that has elements of metal, hardcore, EDM, industrial. So now, you want the fucking truth? The truth is, it's a good album. It's a really good album. Again, I think it's probably the best album since Node. This has the potential to be one of the best Northlane releases, and I'm excited to see what happens with the band after this. If you hear them on a Netflix show or on a Hulu show in the background, or they're a part of a movie soundtrack, you heard it here first, motherfuckers, on Breakdown at Bryan's. There you have it. The very first ever Breakdown at Bryan's in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, you can find myself, Matt Musselwhite, and Jordan Maudreau at I Hate the Scene every Friday night, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitch. Look at the lower thirds right now. Do not forget, if you're on Instagram, add us at I Hate the Scene. If you're on Twitter, it's at Scene Radio, twitch.tv/I Hate the Scene, facebook.com/I Hate the Scene. And most importantly, because Matt does have kids and he does not feed them unless we get subscribers on YouTube. And chances are you're watching this on YouTube right now. youtube.com/C/I Hate the Scene. Check us out on the website, iHateTheScene.com. As always, you can find me at Of Brian of Death on Instagram, Of Brian of Death on Twitter, The Common Chaos for my podcast. You grinder boys, you know what you're looking for over there. Let's get it. Once again, my name is Brian. This was Breakdown at Bryan's, a review of Obsidian by Northlane.